Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our little Holding Space Sunday Beltane version. Um, yeah, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late getting on here for those of you that were looking for the live, just technology stuff, and was helping out with some household things too. So, anyway, tonight we're just gonna really look at some cards. Uh, and focus on in Beltane. Like there's a few different traditions that have carried through. So normally there's a ceremonial fire, releasing of those sorts of things, like through the fire. So that's the meditation we're gonna do. There's also in how it's translated to modern day is the maypole, which is it's a whole explanation unto itself about them dancing with ribbons around the pole. It is to symbolize fertility and the new coming in. That's the general gist of that one. So it's kind of this interesting. I don't want to call it a paradox necessarily, but with Beltane tonight and this first day of May, it is that like on the calendar, it is the this halfway point ish between the equinox of spring that we so spring started to come in, and now we're working towards the solstice where summer fully comes in. So it's kind of this in between summer and or spring and summer, and it's sort of as things start to appear and grow, and you can see that outside when you go outside, everything's starting to get little buds on it. There's little flowers. Um, the really big significance that I find in this, besides fertility, with Beltane is, yeah, it's also a time for us to start. It's where we come out of that winter slumber fully. So sometimes there's a little bit of wildness. So it's just about stoking up that energy within you. That's what I think the fire represents. So we're kind of just building that fire up a bit so that we can start to get more motivated. Right? We've been in this kind of frozen, cold, not getting out and doing a lot of things, and now we're heading into this gardening and planting and watching the birds and you know the bunnies and those everybody's out there creating new life. um, and that's necessarily not necessarily what humans do, right? But we kind of come out of this weird slumber, and this is our time energetically for us to be creating new things. So what we're going to do in this meditation, and just we'll see what the cards say, is we're burning off this old energy of of slumber, of things we no longer needed. We're stoking the fire, and then you know it's literally lighting a fire under our butts to get moving into the spring. Start growing, start cultivating, start dreaming, start planting the seeds. That's a big part of this meditation, is about planting the seeds. So we're just going to start here by using some actual fire. And then yeah, we're just gonna take some breaths. We're gonna do a little bit of cards. I am gonna try to keep this short tonight. I'm exhausted. I slept well, I feel, with last night's energies. When I finished the meditation last night, I went downstairs and tried to just relax and defrag a bit. Oh, I felt like I was high as a kite for like 4 hours. I really wasn't, I swear to you. I literally was completely sober, no alcohol, and I took some CBD oil, but it has no THC in it. So yeah, I felt like up here and just like wanting to do stuff. It took me a long time to calm down, but I finally did. Anyway, that was last night. And then I slept deeply for like, I remember waking up at 8 o'clock this morning because it's my day off, so I get to do that. And thinking it was like maybe 6 a.m. because I get up several times to use the washroom in the middle of the night. None of that happened. It was 8:30 something. It was terrible. So anyway, I obviously needed that. Anyway, so let's do some cards. Let's see what I picked this cute little earthy kind of, it's hard to see with those lights. The earthy kind of Celtic wheel kind of deck. Just because, yeah, we do want to pay a little bit of honoring back to my roots, which are Celtic and pagan. And ooh, there's 2 there. I'm just going to take those 3. So we'll see. Yeah, this card came up earlier today. This card actually came up earlier when I was looking at the week coming up. So a few things. I'll try to hold it close in the light so you can see it. The card is reaction. We have a lot of lotuses, which are always, and white lotuses, which are associated with higher consciousness and opening to that spiritual realm. But the reaction, if you look, hand is over throat, tears coming down. And that's why I got this earlier about the week coming up. I haven't done that reading for the week, but I do feel like it's about us processing a lot of emotions. And it's a lot of emotions around, sorry, it's hard to see, I know. It's a lot of emotions around just everything we're going through right now. This is a huge spiritual transformation. A lot of times we have been a little silenced about this. I know I have trouble. I try to speak about it on here and I have to like monitor my words, but it has a lot to do with censorship, but it's not just censorship of the media and the social medias, but of our friends and family. Like we've kind of been criticized a little bit about, and I'm not even specifically talking about me and one subject, but talking to other people. Like you have to be very careful what you say, even if you believe it to be so true. So right now I think we're being asked to have those tears and cleanse that. And we don't have to ask anybody else for forgiveness or forgive anyone else. We just have to understand that we're sovereign, we have a voice, and just let the tears flow, because that's going to take us to this next step of getting closer to enlightenment, or whatever you want to call those white lotuses, of their higher consciousness, of getting to those levels. So I know it's hard. And it's also, you have to feel it to heal it. I'm going to say that again. It sounds so trite, but it's true. Like we don't get to go through this process without going through the emotions. But it's necessary. It's not about we do this and we get nowhere. We do ascend to the mountaintop and to open these blossoms of enlightenment. We're going to do 3 cards. So this is going to take a while. Okay, center. This one's great. This one for me is easy. The biggest flower and enlightenment piece is right at just above heart chakra, a little bit closer to throat, but like really right in heart and higher heart. So this is centering in our heart center. About love, all of those things, keeping those close into our heart. And it allows us to then expand into this higher consciousness, these lovely this lovely headdress of higher energy. We've got the moon down here at our base, which we just, yes, it's not a new moon. It's just like that sexy slip of a moon. So a couple of days from now, maybe a couple more. Anyway, that's our base where we've been, and we're moving up. So take all those emotions, feel them, cry them into your heart, and know that we're safe, we're secure, we're heading into this glorious crown of energy, of enlightenment. It's peace. It's a strong energy, so it's not just peace coming at us, but yeah, it's just moving that energy up. But when it's getting too much, stay in the heart, experience love. Ooh, interesting card. Consistency. The sun is in there. Let me look at this for 1 second before I read it. Yeah, okay. The moon. Okay. Yeah. So we've got a couple things going on here. New moon, next full moon. Like I talked about last night. We entered this corridor last night of the new moon. We're heading to the next eclipse of the moon, but it's a full, or did I just get that right? Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be on a full moon. So we're heading through this corridor doorway. What's going to happen here is the sun is still going to be doing its thing. But look at us in this. We're in this nice space of just contentment, but also, what's the word? It's not, it's almost like certainty. We know it's going to happen. We're going to be fine if we just allow things to happen. The consistency part of it is our daily work with ourselves, keeping up the meditation, pushing forward through this gateway to the next couple of weeks, and really understanding that, yeah, the sun, there's many changes going on right now. It's kind of that she is kind of stoic, but stationary and reassured and looking ahead and calm about it. There's no fear. It's just the knowing that the sun has your back, and we're going to push through all these changes together, and it's going to be fine. Perfect. Okay, so next, I'm just going to do 3 cards about manifestation, and then we'll look at the end at some other cards. And then, yeah, tomorrow I will be putting up the I'll probably do Monday to Sunday reading of cards. Oops. Yeah, even though I'll still continue to do holding space. There's nothing super special going on during the week here. There's some conjunctions of planets and things and retrogrades. I don't think we'll get into this, but we'll see what inspires us. So, okay, the first part of this is honor your feelings. So it's interesting because the chakra depicted in this card is crown chakra. So it's sitting under the moon and meditating. So I think this is just a call for us to really be tuning in and meditating. And it's not just about our feelings, but where do we feel that, we need to take this next few steps this week. Honoring what do we want? What do we want to feel? And this is specifically on a spiritual level. It's not about it's not about relationships. It's about the relationship with yourself and the relationship to source. Funny. I'm just laughing only because the meditation specifically speaks about this. So just honor your feelings. Be true to yourself about where you want to head spiritually. I know that sounds like a crazy thing, but we have to start thinking in terms of that. That's this 5D thinking versus lower fear and 3D thinking of, relationships. I call them relationships, but, and that's men, women, friends, all of it. They're difficult, right? The next card is open to change. It's in Aquarius. Again, we're heading finally into this age of Aquarius. So things are changing. It's what's going to happen. But there's those lovely cherry blossoms in the corner here. And it is where we're headed. So just be open to what could be. We can't necessarily visualize or see what's going to come, but it's a matter of visualizing what you would like to see. And I'm not talking about it can be super basic, like I want to live in, close to the ocean, at a farm, those sorts of things. But just really embodying yourself into those places. And I'm getting something else from this. And just being open to what comes, whatever that is, in terms of, this is a tricky one. This card threw me. When we're doing these manifestations and meditations, we just need to be sitting and really deeply visualizing. By change, the word is kind of throwing me, and that's what's throwing me, is that it's so different from what you can imagine. So when you're dreaming, it's hard to do this, but try to envision the craziest scenario. I hate to say that. It's really weird, but just the best and weirdest thing. If you want to be living, my dream, if I was going to manifest something right now, is I just want to live in a small, cute, tiny house that's somehow located near the ocean, but is also forested with my dog and my mom. And we just want to hang out and work with energy all day. It's a totally weird dream. Nobody would ever pick that as the current dream, but that's where we are. It's about manifesting the simple, small, but truthful and real to your heart. That's all I can say about these cards. I know they're very weird. Anyway, but the funny thing is, the other part of Beltane is that, it's that, I don't want to call it sexual energy, but it kind of is. It's that need to, it's fertility, right? It's create something new. And so it doesn't mean you have to go out and make a bunch of babies, which everybody else is in the natural world is doing out there. Maybe not humans, but all the robins and the bunnies and the squirrels. This card is Go Wild. And again, we're getting that Leo energy, but it's still, Leo energy is still anchored to family. So it's about just create and go wild. And, I just told you that strange little dream that I have of my life and what I want to see moving forward, but just be nuts about it. Who cares? Nobody's judging you on that dream. If you write it out and you want to live on another planet with green skies and pink water, then that's what you want to do. It's just calling to us to just be true to ourselves. which is really hard to do. We don't do that often because we're like, oh, that's too weird and that would never happen. And just honestly, because I'm going to say this term, and it's not normally my favorite, but let your freak flag fly. Just start manifesting things in small amounts that you just want to feel and see and that kind of thing. Don't worry about like manifesting $1 million or any of that stuff. Leave that 3D world behind when you're manifesting. Maybe that's the gist of what I'm saying. Start to look at this strange new world that we're heading into, that none of us have a map or how to manual. It's just, what do you want? What do you want to feel? How do you want to be? How do you want to serve? All of those things. And they might be right out there. And people are just, if you told them to people, they would be like, you're crazy. Put that aside. You don't have to tell this to anyone. You don't even have to tell it to me. We're just asking you to tell it to yourself. And dream big and just do something a little crazy and wild. Yeah, I think that's the gist of tonight, strangely enough. So we're going to leave the cards for now. We might do a couple at the end. Going to light some more incense here before we get started. So yeah, hopefully, just feel like we need a big bonfire, but we just don't have it. Well, we could. I could have probably actually had a bonfire for us. Do a reading outside. That'd be interesting. I'm losing my voice. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to start the meditation. Lost my place. Take me a second here. So go ahead and get comfortable in your space, however that looks to you. And yeah, just sit and relax and find your space. And then once you've kind of like ironed out all the kinks and nooks and things in your body and you're sitting peacefully and quietly, I'm going to get you to close your eyes. I'm just going to open the door for my dogs. It's cute. Because otherwise, he'll cry through this meditation. Okay? I know. He hates the smoke. Sit down. I know. Sit. I'm just going to wait for him. Because he's cute. And, look, there's his little image. Okay. Sorry to interrupt your meditation. We haven't started yet, so that's good. Come here. Okay. Sitting down. Getting our space. Closing our eyes. And then taking in some very deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then once you feel nice and centered, we're just going to breathe and begin to rest. And then we'll do as we always do, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth to a count of 4 with each inhalation and exhalation. And then we're going to do that 3 times. Imagine we are in a deep, dense forest. It is dusk, and as the light begins to fade, we retreat even further into the trees. This is the night of Beltane, the midway point between spring equinox and summer solstice, the pinnacle moment of growth and the new life of spring. Breathe and feel into the energy of growth. We walk ahead now, coming into a circular clearing amid old oak trees, and we are joined by many twinkling fairy lights. A stone pit in the center of the clearing is calling us to have a fire. Beltane translates to the good fire. Breathe and offer a prayer here for the good fire we are about to create. We wander now around the circle of trees and begin to gather wood for this Beltane fire. The first piece of wood we gather represents the releasing of all fears. As you pick it up, know that the fire will burn away and release all fears. And in its place, we will be gifted with security and connection to earth. Breathe and release. The next piece of firewood we gather represents our need to release the inability to express ourselves. As you gather, know this will be replaced with deep connection to your true emotions and feelings. Breathe, connect, and feel all of those feelings. Gathering the next piece of wood, feel how it represents any sense of low self esteem that you may be carrying, whether that is bad self talk, self hatred, or self sabotage. Know that as you release these lower energies and emotions into the fire, it will be replaced with a strong sense of positive personal identity. Breathe and feel your power. The next piece we pick up is to absorb and take out all of our grief, the sadness, and the loneliness. Knowing that the energy of fire will burn these feelings away and transmute them to energy into higher frequencies of joy, inner peace, and unity. Breathe and feel the love. Then, gathering the next piece for our fire, it will represent the release of any feelings of disconnect or feelings of unable to speak and raise our voice. And in its place, we will find our personal power again, integrity, and the ability to voice our truth, our true, authentic self. Breathe and know Know that truth, that it is you, just the way you are. The next piece of wood is to represent the releasing of all negative thought patterns, raising up your vibration to be able to have clear thinking and knowledge of who you truly are and exactly why you are here. Breathe and know. The final piece we gather will represent the releasing of scattered thoughts and overthinking, a terrible distraction which keeps us only wondering and wondering about all the what ifs of life. It keeps us in a perpetual wheel of creating and manifesting scenarios that keep us in lower vibrations. Instead, we replace these thoughts with ones of gratitude, gratitude for what is, and then we reach for the energies of bliss and peace and bring those into our everyday thoughts. Here we breathe and we give thanks for what is. We now place all the pieces into the stone pit and we prepare for the cleansing of this fire. First, turning to the north, holding both hands out in front of you, palms up to receive, and say, I cleanse and I honor that I am the caretaker of the earth. Breathe and turn to the east. Again, with hands outstretched in front of you, palms in receiving positions. And here we say, I cleanse and I honor that I am the keeper of fire. Breathe. Then turning south, again, hands outstretched to receive. And again, ask and say, I cleanse and honor that I am the breather of air. And lastly, we turn to the west. Again, arms outstretched, hands to receive, and say, I cleanse and I honor I am the drinker of water. Breathe and honor. Turning back now toward the stone pit. And whispering into the fire, into the stones, into the wood we have brought. Whispering wind, my spirit sings. With gusting wind, my spirit moves. With howling wind, my spirit wings to source. Breathe. Our arms still outstretched, hands in a cup of receiving formation, and just slightly raising them up to the sky. feeling energy building. Between your hands, a bright ball of light forms and begins to grow and intensify. Allow this energy to build, and when you feel it's right, place this ball of energy into the woodpile. It begins to further brighten in the white light until it ignites and the fire begins to grow. The fire builds stronger and bigger and increases to a point so high it appears to touch the sky. The intensity burns away all that we have wished to release. Feel the warmth of the fire. Feel the warmth in your heart center. Bring both hands to heart center, either holding your heart or in prayer formation, and say now a silent prayer of gratitude. Gratitude for this deep clearing and cleansing. Breathe and say thank you. As the fire increases in burning, you take in one last deep cleansing breath. And as you do, a sudden flash of blue illuminates from the fire, and the fire suddenly goes out. Looking down and laying in the middle of all the ashes, we see the gift that has transmuted from our releasing. Within the center, you notice a small satchel. Picking it up and dusting it off. As you pull apart the opening, you see that it is full of seeds, many varieties of seeds. You gather this to take it with you, knowing that these seeds are all we have transmuted into, what we have replaced these lower energies and releasings with. Moving forward, we must begin to plant these seeds and watch them grow. Within it, the seeds of safety and security and our deep connection and relation to Earth. The seeds of healthy emotions and expression, our deep connection and relationship to ourselves. The seeds of strong sense of self and our deep connection and relationship to our true divine power. The seeds of joy, inner peace, and unity, and our deep connection and relationship to divine love. The seeds of truth, and our deep connection and relationship to truly knowing ourselves. The seeds of clear thinking and intuition, our deep connection to Source, to our guides, and to knowing all the deep truths of who we really are on a spiritual level. The seeds of gratitude and a deep connection to the universe, knowing that in giving thanks, we create and grow and manifest all we need and that our soul desires. Breathe. Just breathe. Walking back now through the forest, we are joined again by the lights of the fairies, who remind us that Beltane is an energy of great fertility. And from now until the solstice, we must plant these seeds in our garden. We must nurture them and tend to them and love them as they grow into our new beginning, our new self, and our new way of being upon this new earth. Breathe. Just rest. And take these seeds into your heart and know that you can plant them every day. We're just going to rest here in silence for a moment. Starting to bring yourself back into the room, into your space. Always go back to heart center. And just, we've created that container of love and peace there. So just return there. I like to feel it like kind of like a little hammock that we could just crawl into and be wrapped in this beautiful rose quartz healing light. And then just stay in that vibration, but as you come back. But we can keep this little space as we head off to sleep tonight, in peace and in love. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So we're just going to continue with the fire element because it's very important tonight. Yeah. I hope you liked that meditation. I'm excited for all of us to grow our seeds. We're going to do 3 more cards from the manifestation. Well, it's not even I think it's abundant. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. That's terrible. Divine abundance, I think it has something to do with. Anyway, and then we will call it for the night. And hopefully by, end of day tomorrow, I'll have the daily read up for the week. And I'm going to read till Sunday this time because I always feel like holding space Sunday is, we do cards, but it's not necessarily what might be happening during the week. So, all right, let's look at these guys and we'll head off to bed. Oops, drop them off. Okay. Ooh. Try not to get too heavy here. These are a little bit heavy. We'll just try to read them in the best way possible. Sacrifice. I know that sounds terrible. Sometimes it's surrender is the key word here. This is a big theme that's been coming up in other people's readings as well, is our just need to surrender to what we think the way things should be, and just accepting what is, which can be a little painful. So this is like, once we surrender, again, it's like last night, I said, it's about giving it up to God. And whether you like that term or not, giving it up to the universe. It's God's cutting away of all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. Honestly, I don't want to delve really deep into that because it's a whole separate video. It's all these things that are keeping us from moving forward into love. But if you can sacrifice illusions, obsessions, and addictions, it's a sacrifice to love. I know last night I said that we can transmute and move past things really fast, and the time is now to deal with these things, which it is. And I wasn't being trite about just transmuting really fast, but it's asking us to start really looking at this stuff and really letting go of it once and for all. So it's just moving into a place of love. I was trying not to get really deep and heavy at the end here. Anyway, the next card is non-duality, which, again, we've been talking about this polarized thing in life. So let your authentic humanity shine forth while also bowing to the inner divine. You can become fluent at doing both. That's a great look at non-duality. So I think when we say that to people sometimes, even for me, I'm just like, I can't just have no opinion or not think about these things. So yeah, bowing to the inner divine and letting your authentic humanity shine forth. You can become fluent at doing both. It's very interesting. I'm going to have to take notes on that. But it's funny because then the next card is worth. You have been worthy to belong to love all along, without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. That's a perfect way to end this. It's exactly what the meditation led us to. We need to release all these, again, just those things that are holding us up. I'm not saying don't work on those things and just hope they magically go away. We still do have to face those things, but we have to work on them. But what I was saying last night was it's a little easier to work on this stuff than it has been previously. So it's just coming to that place of peace and love and knowing that you're doing it right, and love itself is you. You are. I am. It's the I am presence. Anyway, I know that's a lot. I made too much smoke in this room tonight. I'm all like sounding like I have like been chain smoking. I don't even smoke. So anyway, okay. So that's it for tonight. I'm glad you joined this Beltane ceremony. Hopefully you're having a great night. The energies seemed to calm down today, so we weren't so bombarded with such intensity. But anyway, I'm glad you joined, even if you're watching this not live, and that you have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you tomorrow. I'll record the weekly card reading, and we'll see how this week goes. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves.